Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Sunday, and it is just something that I thought I would do is just do a little kind of live show. I missed MNC earlier in the week, and so I decided to kind of do something kind of solo. Mooch isn't available today, but hey, that doesn't stop me from coming in here and having a good time. I have to say that it's been sort of interesting lately because some of the stuff that's been coming out and the rumors and things like that. I really have to say I'm enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun to kind of talk next generation consoles and all the stuff that's going on. So hopefully you guys are in for a little bit of fun today. You know what I mean? What's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys are doing good. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on, which was one of the big things was that quite possibly this price drop at the Xbox One X, which you guys might be seeing that, right? Xbox One X has been selling pretty decently, and it's actually been selling decent enough to put a little bit of a dent in some of the PS4 stuff. It's never going to outsell the PS4, like outsell it, but just to see it sort of do as well as it's been able to do has been pretty impressive, and I think that that's going to continue to happen. And there's also this new rumor as well, according to a couple of these different sites and stuff, that the Xbox One X is in fact selling better than the PS4 Pro, like by a 2-to-1 margin. So I think that would be pretty interesting to maybe kind of discuss and kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit about what's going on in terms of the future. We're going to see these upgrades all the time now. We're gonna keep seeing these constant upgrades, mid-gen upgrades, or whatever you want to call them. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Originally, I remember being a little bit against that and thinking, that's kind of lame or whatever. But now I just think that it just makes so much sense because, as a hardcore gamer, you kind of want to play like the best versions all the time. And, it's really kind of an attractive thing to not have to fool around and buy a bunch of parts and things like that. But instead, you're able to just, buy a whole nother console every few years or whatever, or you don't even have to if you're not that into it. But as someone who is very much into the whole, buy a console thing, I love that. I love the idea that I can just go back out there and buy some consoles. And, it's not so much a money thing because I get it. A lot of people are into PC, and I think that's perfectly fine. Like, I don't have anything against PC or building one or whatever, but I'm not that guy. I'm kind of the guy that, like, I'm lazy. I like in fact, one of the things that I hate most about this generation is the fact that I can't just pop a game in and play it for the most part, right? What I have to do is, install it or download it or whatever, and it takes a long time. Whereas last gen, you pop in a game, boom, you're good to go. And I really kind of like that and thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of bums me out about this generation, because I'm like a now type of gamer, and that's not something that really happens very much nowadays. You know what I mean? So the Xbox One X selling well, and hey, to be fair, according to the NPD guy, Matt Priscatella, the PS4 Pro is selling well as well. So we have both of these mid-gen upgrades that are actually doing that are actually doing extremely well. Like, I wouldn't have thought that was something that we'd be seeing, and here we are. We're seeing these consoles excel. For me personally, I was one of those people that was like, well, people are sort of stuck in their ways, and they probably won't bother buying another console so soon. And then here we are. We're here, we're seeing it happen. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, so we're here and we're seeing it happen, and I think that's really amazing. And I think that it's something that we're going to continue to see in the future, hopefully. And Microsoft is really, I think, onto something pretty nice with the idea of being able to do this, And I like that, and I like that Sony's doing it too. Hell, we might even get a Nintendo Switch new version next year, right? Like, as little as I play the Switch, if they come out with a version that can play games better and performance wise, I'm gonna play it. You know what I mean? I'll buy it. So I just do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I upgrade the 3DS. The Vita only really had one kind of option, but I still really enjoyed just the whole tech and all that kind of stuff. I'm that guy. I like the tech. I like the technology. I like to buy the different things and try it out. And even the PS4 Pro, right? While not a huge increase, I couldn't play PSVR on the original PS4. I know you technically can, but if you've ever tried it, you'll notice that the frame rates can be even worse, and then the headaches can be worse. So for someone like me who does get a little bit of motion sickness, it makes sense to keep keep the ability to just play the game and not have that as much of a problem, because the PS4 Pro is much more advanced than the standard PS4. So that is something that I very much enjoy and things like that. Also, today I'm going to be taking some questions. I haven't done that in a long time, in a while. I like doing this every once in a while. Like some people said, hey, do it weekly, and that still might be a thing. I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I got like life stuff going on right now, like good life stuff, very, very good stuff. And so I'm not as around to do a lot of the stuff that I used to do, but I'm still planning on doing like a lot of the content, and I'm going to continue to do that and things like that. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button and share it out, all that kind of stuff, I would appreciate it. I just really do appreciate it. Hey, Cajun, yeah, hey, you don't have to be surprised, subscribe, bro. You can, I think Microsoft is doing a lot to really reach out to you, man. Like Game Pass, they've bought more studios. They're going to be having a lot more content next generation, but you're going to be able to play that stuff on this gen stuff as well. So that's really cool. Like trust me, dude, I'm upset that we didn't get a bunch of exclusive this gen either, right? I get that, and I've pissed off about it, man. I've talked to Phil about it. I've said my piece in numerous videos about how they dropped the ball this generation, and they really have. They really, really have. But at the same time, they are doing things to sort of make things right, and I think that that's one of those things. That's one of those things that they're not getting enough credit from you or from a lot of people like you, man. And that's not a knock on you per se. You could be a decent guy. I'm just saying that you're quick to point out that they don't do this, and then I haven't seen you exactly praise the steps that they're taking to make next generation better. So it's one of those things where we're going to keep seeing Microsoft get better and better and better and better and offer more and more and more stuff, and I think that's super cool. You want Apple to buy Sony just so Marvel gets their characters back? Hey, would that happen though? I mean, if Apple buys Sony, who wouldn't they end up with Sony's characters, like the Marvel characters and stuff? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Which I am going to be talking about that. If you guys didn't know, and I linked this below, and this was a rumor earlier in the year as well, is that Apple wants to get Sony Pictures, and it says the Silicon Giant will finally recognize it could use some Hollywood expertise as it tries to catch up with Netflix and Amazon. Buying Sony gives Apple access to a library that includes Men in Black, Breaking Bad, Jumanji, as well as the rights to make more Spider-Man movies. That's a web Apple would be lucky to spin. Buying a studio is basically rounding error for a company worth $1 trillion. So I find that to be kind of interesting because it's not PlayStation, but would the situation be weird, right? Because obviously, right, like PlayStation's good, but would Sony really be willing to sell off a portion like Apple to Apple, like the movies or anything like that? Because as far as I can see, like gaming is such a fluctual thing, right? It's a really influx thing, constantly moving. Like you never know where the trends are going to be, right? Like look at what Microsoft did 5 years ago with the Xbox One. They had the Xbox One. Everybody throws a hissy fit, right? I'm always online. I don't want to do it. They're trying to take my rights. I like my physical media. I like it. I'm like, I like the physical media as well. But at the same time, what they did and offered back then is what we all pretty much do right now, right? We're all like, most of us buy stuff digitally. We game share. Now imagine the insane game sharing that was scheduled back then, right? It's like, for a guy like me, it was perfect because what you do is you would have bought the physical disc, install it, and then you didn't need that disc anymore, right? You could still have it to collect it like I like, but you didn't need to switch your discs to play the different games because they were already on your hard drive and it had a little code, little DRM deal. I get it, right? Like I like the game sharing now too that Microsoft and Sony do, like I game share with my brother. So, whenever I get a game, he gets it too. I think that's pretty cool. And basically that's why I don't really buy physical anymore. I'll still buy physical, like some of the exclusives and stuff. And I buy physical, like VR stuff and a lot for the PS4 and the Switch, because obviously the Switch is probably the weirder one in terms of actually owning the things that you buy. But at the same time, I'm still having a good time with the type of media that's out now. You know what I mean? I love the whole idea that I can just share my games with my brother, and it's not a big deal. It's actually a lot of fun. So as far as I can tell, that's one of the things. Like, and people were like, well, you won't be able to trade in your used games, and that was so untrue, right? That was very, very untrue. Just like how Microsoft is supposedly planning this whole trade your disc to digital stuff for this discless Xbox One next year. Supposedly it was the same type of situation. You would have been able to take it to certain retailers and then still trade your used games, but they would have got like the publishers would have got a piece of it. Halber's doing good. His work, he changed his job, and so he works now like at the time when the podcasts are all going and stuff like that. And his computer busted as well. So I always tell him, like, dude, why don't you hop on sometime? He's just busy and stuff like that. I miss actually having him on the podcast. It was a pretty cool dude. Like, I get along well with my brother, in case you guys didn't know. So that's really good. No, like, Microsoft isn't going to own Sony. They're not going to do that. Hey, hit that like button, guys. Share it out. I really would appreciate it. I'm going to be answering a lot of questions here in a little bit. I just wanted to kind of hit on this Sony thing again. But I do find that whole Apple thing funny, because I don't actually think that's going to happen, right? First of all, there's a lot of logistics to an American company buying a Japanese company. And there's also further logistics as to why Sony seems to be making money again. Like, they actually have a plan with some of the stuff that is going on with their movies, right? If you look at Venom, right, a lot of people hated that movie, or a lot of people in the media and the reviews really disliked that movie. I wasn't sure what to expect, because I just bought it recently, like, to watch it on, like, digitally, and I was surprised that I kind of liked it. I didn't think it was bad. I actually thought it was interesting, and that movie made like almost $1 billion, and they're already like planning a sequel, and they have this whole like universe that they're planning with these other villains and things like that. And I think that could be cool. You know what I mean? It's just like how Fox was with their movies. Were they as good as like the Marvel stuff? Maybe some of them. Like, I think Logan was extremely well done for Fox. I think X-Men Days of Future Past was amazing. First Class was pretty good. Some of those original X-Men films, except for the third one, were pretty good. I just think that, a lot of everybody wants to compare everything to Marvel, like the Marvel stuff that Disney does. And that's kind of foolish, because there's other things that could be really good. Like, if you look at the Deadpool movies, those are some of the best things going right now. And, those aren't Marvel. I mean, they will be next year, I guess, but, and I think that you need a little bit of that competition. So, not everything has to be the same. And that translates over to consoles as well, because if you look at consoles, everybody goes, Microsoft isn't doing things the way Sony's doing, so they suck. And I don't look at things that way. I think of things a little bit differently. I think that they don't have to do things like Sony. Nintendo doesn't do things like Sony. And you don't see a lot of people going, oh, well, Nintendo sucks, right? At the end of the day, I think that it's impressive that we've seen a company like Microsoft put up such a fight, when it's pretty clear that a lot in the industry want to see them fail, and that's a bit of a shame, because I think that Microsoft has done a lot for the industry. And I think that, and so is Sony, and so is Nintendo. I think all these companies have. I just think that, that Microsoft never gets their fair credit. And I think that that's a bit of a shame. So at the end of the day, I would like to see them get a little bit of the credit that they deserve. And I think they will next year, to be sure. I think that, they're going to get some of that impressive kind of credit when they launch that new piece of hardware, the same time that Sony launches that PS5, and they both have new exclusives, but you're going to be able to pay $10 to play all of Microsoft's, or you're going to have to pay $60 a pop to play Sony's. I think that's when you're going to see people start to really, really come out of the woodwork and really just kind of just go crazy. I think it's that's what we're going to really see. Like, the amount of options that you have with the Xbox console, I just find that to be absolutely thrilling, absolutely incredible, and unprecedented. Sony has to match some of these. Now, I did a video yesterday where it's heavily rumored that Sony is going to be offering some type of streaming cloud situation as well, and that this is already being tested. And this isn't like what Microsoft is doing, as far as I can tell, where it's going to be on everything, right? This is if you have a game digitally on a PlayStation, I guess like PlayStation 5, let's say, you own that game digitally. Well, they're having infrastructure built up right now so that you're going to be able to cloud stream your game to your other devices. But I don't think that that's for everybody per se just yet. Like how Microsoft wants to do Project X Cloud, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think this is specifically as an option to PlayStation owners, because Sony still sees that the value in PlayStation is PlayStation. And let's be honest, until somebody else steps up and takes that away, they're right. PlayStation brand is a huge brand, and they have a huge group of people and fans that really respect them and support them no matter what. And I think that that's fantastic. I do. Like, I love that they're so popular, because it makes these other companies go out of their way and do something to try and compete. And when you have competition, that's when we gamers win. You know, we get the big deals, we get the great deals, we get the better games, we get the better services. Without Sony just mopping the floor with Microsoft right from the start of this gen, we would not have the Xbox that we have right now, right? We wouldn't have the X. We wouldn't have them buying studios. We wouldn't have them offering Play Anywhere or, or Game Pass or preview program. They stepped out of what they were doing because everybody was leaving them. Everybody was abandoning them. And they needed to do something to try to win back the fans. And I think they've successfully done that. Now, there's always going to be people out there that dislike Xbox, and that's just going to be the truth, right? People are going to really, really hate them. You know, hey, Omino, he says, blind loyalty can be detrimental, though, as well. Crap. Hey, dude, I get it, right? If I was blind loyalty to Xbox, I would 100% agree. But I've been saying right from the beginning that they have really slacked off with the exclusive. I was right there on the front line saying, hey, they really messed up with this, right? I can do that. A lot of the Xbox people don't actually go out and do that. You know what I mean? The PlayStation guys, I've yet to see a PlayStation guy get on Sony for not doing a multiplayer exclusive. You know, they haven't really excelled in that this gen. They used to do a lot last generation. Look, you want to know games I played the most on the PS3? Resistance, 1, 2, and 3, Warhawk. I think I played SOCOM Confrontation, and there was some other ones as well, like games that are built for multiplayer. Mag, they had games that were really built for multiplayer, and this generation, they've totally like forgotten about that, because they're running with that whole thing. We're the only ones that do single player. It's us. We do single player. We're the only ones that do single player games. Hurrah for us. Hurrah for Sony. We'll continue to do single player games. When the fact of the matter is, there's plenty of third parties out there doing great single player games as well. Nintendo does great single player games. Microsoft's had a couple, you know what I mean? But for the most part, Microsoft likes to do kind of the opposite. And to their credit, they've been successful with that. And they've managed to come out with some multiplayer games with great single player elements like Halo and Gears. Although the Halo 5 story was a little bit lackluster, they still have had that kind of going for them, where Sony has abandoned completely all the multiplayer stuff, right? Like Killzone wasn't great, but they really messed up with Shadowfall, because that game made no sense and it was clunky and it was awful. So they kind of abandoned every single popular, like SOCOM. You know, what happened to that? Like, that was a great franchise. People still ask for a remaster of that, and nobody goes out there and really kind of berates Sony for it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Sony, give us some multiplayer games. Give us some multiplayer exclusives. We get it. You do single player games great. God of War was amazing. Spider-Man was cool. Detroit Become Human was probably like my favorite story out of all three of those. Until Dawn is great. Ratchet and Clank, great. These are all great, amazing games. Uncharted 4, amazing games. But give us something multiplayer focused once in a while. You know what I mean? We are paying for PlayStation Plus. We pay $50 a year. Why not come out and give us something special? Give us something, something different. And I think that's sort of where I am with this situation as well. I want to see what we can get in the future from these companies that pushes back against what a lot of people think, right? So what I mean is, people think that Microsoft only does, multiplayer. So I want them to stretch their wings and do some single player games, right? People think that Sony only does what? Single player, right? And I'm not talking about what they're going to do with Last of Us 2. I get that that's going to have some sort of multiplayer like Uncharted. That's not what I'm talking about, because even though I know the Sony dudes will defend that and they'll be like, no, those are really good. Those are really good multiplayer. I'm talking about something built for multiplayer, right? Something built for it. You can have a good story, but you got to have something built for the multiplayer. And I'm sorry, I just didn't find The Last of Us multiplayer was really built for that. Maybe it was a tad bit better than the normal kind of tacked on multiplayer, but who knows really. But anyway, if you, I mean, almost 300 watching early out here kicking it by myself, please hit the like button, share it out. That would mean a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I like, I like the interaction with you guys, man. Soon I will tell everybody kind of what's going on, man. A lot of cool stuff going on. This kind of been keeping me busy lately, but needless to say, you might notice Crapgamer a little bit happy, and that's a little bit weird. You know what I mean? So, I just want to say, man, I appreciate the support and things like that. Even if I don't do as much content as I was, I will be happy to ramp up the content. I think next year we're going to get lots of information about the next PlayStation and next Xbox. And that is something that I'm very, very excited about. So, hopefully you guys are all just like having a great day and a great weekend, man. I know I am, man. It's just unbelievable, Cloud9, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of absolutely, just having a really good time. I'm just saying, Microsoft and Sony, I would like to see them stretch out and do something that is not normally them, like I said, and hopefully that's going to happen one day. I think it will. No matter what you think, The Last of Us was built for multiplayer. If it wasn't your cup of tea, cool doesn't mean that what you say is true. Actually, no. The Last of Us wasn't built for multiplayer, man. It was built for the single player element. It just is. And not only that, but that game had pay to win in it, and nobody really complained about it. So I get what you're saying, and like I said, a little bit better than maybe the average multiplayer. But that game is clearly like a single player game at its core with some multiplayer, and like I get it, it was a little bit different and things like that. But yeah. Sony has Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet was good. I love the first two. I thought those were really cool. Fernando says, I want Microsoft to become third party. That would be great for everyone. I'm not really sure that'd be great for everyone. I don't like PlayStation controllers as much as Xbox controllers, and I don't like PlayStation hardware as much as Xbox hardware. So, for me personally, I hope Microsoft keeps, and it looks like, obviously they're making another console as we speak. So, I think we're safe with that. And we're almost up to 100 likes, guys. Please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. What do you guys think about that, though? Are you guys surprised that the Xbox One X has managed to supposedly sell extremely well and possibly outsell the PS4 Pro 2-1? So despite the fact that the PS4 Pro was on the market a full year before the Xbox One X, it looks like Microsoft took the Xbox One X a little bit more seriously than the PS4 Pro. And I think that that's something that really is going to be impressive down the line. We're going to keep seeing, the Xbox One X continue to do well. Microsoft is obviously going to consider doing that in the future as well, like the mid-gen upgrades. What's going to be key important is who is going to actually go out there and put out their mid-gen first, because that might give, like at the launch, I think the Xbox One or Xbox Scarlet, and the PS5 are going to be very similar with what they offer, right? But I think whoever comes out with the first mid-gen refresh might be at a little bit of a disadvantage, because that gives the other one a little bit of time to do something different. So I think that that's something that's going to be really impressive. And I really do think that, it's kind of changing the game. This whole mid-gen idea, that really took me by surprise. Usually you buy a console, you keep a console for 5 or 6 years, then a new one comes out. The fact that we're playing something, and I got to be honest, when you play the Xbox One X, when you play versions on that, completely different than anything else, right? Completely different. It's so amazing. It's such a difference in stark contrast to what I played before. Games just run better. They look amazing. I never thought I'd be one of those guys that has to do the next big thing, like the whole 4K aspect and all that kind of stuff. I never thought I would be that guy. I had just got my first HD TV was in 2007, and I got like a plasma. I think it was a Vizio, right? And I just thought it was like the best thing ever, and this plasma was amazing, and the clarity and the quality and stuff like that. Now, what was cool about it was everything just looked so sharp, because I had been playing games on my Xbox 360 just on a regular like flat panel TV. And when I got my first plasma, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then the only bad part about plasma is if you live in Florida like I do, and plasma heats up the room, to be honest with you. So my TV would keep things pretty damn hot in my room, and it was kind of got uncomfortable. Then eventually, like this past year, over the past year and a half, 2 years, I bought a few 4K TVs, different ones like the KS8000 and the TCL, which is my one that I use the most right now. I love that TCL. If people ask me, they're looking for an affordable 4K HDR TV, the TCL, like you can get one for like $350 right now. I got like a 55-inch TCL that's just amazing. The HDR is phenomenal. It's very comparable to the KS8000. So I always tell people, hey, go with that one because that's the one that's going to really, really kind of be impressive to you. If you're first going to jump from a 1080p to a 4K, that'll give you that big jump that you've been looking at as well. So that's the one that I use the most. And then I have a smaller Samsung 4K HDR one in my office as well, and I kind of like use that as well. Yeah, see, plasma TVs were great. The only problem was the plasma runs out after like 5 years or something like that. So yeah, it was a little bit strange, like, and plus it heats up. But the colors and all that kind of stuff. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back on the chat right now, reading and everything like that. Does the TCL have web on it, OS on it as well? If you're talking about like smart stuff, yeah, my TCL has all that stuff. You can get like Hulu, all that kind of the channels and things like that. And that's really, really cool. And you're able to actually, say the TCL as well, Tony, has the updates as well. So you can keep updating your TV and it adds things to it. So I do that all the time, and there's constantly new updates and things like that. So people should like keep that in mind as well if you're continuing to sort of look for like a 4K TV or something along those lines, because the TCL is a really good. And a lot of people don't know it, right? They're just like, oh, well, if it's not Samsung or this or that, I'm not going to get it. I'm telling you, play the Xbox One X on a TCL. These things are like $350 right now, $350. You will be blown away. They look amazing. The HDR pops. You can control it. It's got game mode on it. It's got everything you're going to want at a very, very cheap price. It's a great, like what I consider starter TCL. Yes, TCL is HDR 10. So it works really well. So, yep. Hey, hit the like button. We did hit over 100 likes, but I'd like to keep that like train rolling. If you guys wouldn't mind, I really do appreciate that. I got to say, yeah, exactly. They're good budget TVs. And I have the Samsung KS8000, but I like my TCL better. I think that the HDR pops a little bit better. So I like that. Now, Lethal Papa, I know you and like Tim Dog and Mooch got that that OLED life, man. I would love to be there one day, but I can't afford an OLED just yet. Maybe one day, but hopefully I'll be able to, get one of these days. That's the dream. That's the dream. Just hopefully one day. Yeah, it's crap, crap in the morning. Hey, what's up? Yeah. You know what? I felt bad, guys. Like, when I wasn't able to do MNC this past Thursday because, one thing was Mooch had a holiday party. I was late. I had something I was doing that night. We started the show. It was messed up. We couldn't get it right. So, we were like, hey, we'll be back next Thursday. But, I felt bad. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'll get in, finish early and try to do a video today live and take some questions and kind of talk with you guys and kind of get all that kind of stuff going, because you know what? that's what it's all about, man. I try to reach out and do as well as do right by the fans, and I really do appreciate your guys' support and stuff like that. It does mean a lot. So it really is cool. But anyway, what do you guys think about that? Do you think Sony fans would be pissed off at them allowing streaming to other devices, even if it's like only PlayStation type games? Like if you own a PlayStation game, do you guys think that would like piss them off? Because like Sony fans, they like care about like the legend of Sony, right? So Sony, you can't do that. When Sony has PlayStation Now and they started doing, you know, they started doing these type of games where they were putting their exclusives on PlayStation Now. People flipped out. People were not happy about that. So, to be honest, it's one of those things that we're really, really kind of gonna have to look at, because Sony fans are like that, right? A lot of them are, not all of them, but a lot of them are like, oh, please, Sony, don't put it on this, or don't put your new exclusives on this. Where Sony could actually make a lot of money if they did do like a streaming service day and date with everybody else. Like, I think that would be awesome. Element Opino says, is Sony really in a position to invest so much in a new system that would match the next Xbox when their mid-gen console wasn't really such a huge upgrade as Xbox One X? That's a good point, Element Opino. And I've said this in another video as well. I said, you know what? Microsoft is subsidizing the cost of their next console through their cloud streaming and all that kind of stuff. I see you, Sir X-Man. Thank you, bro. They're subsidizing the cost of the Xbox through their cloud and stuff. So they're going to have, I think Microsoft, unlike Sony, is going to do multiple SKUs, and they're going to do multiple SKUs of Scarlet. One of them is going to be probably really expensive. I wouldn't even think that $600 is out of the question. And I know people might go, that's absurd, but I still think they're also going to have a slightly lower end one at the same price as the PS5, because I think honestly Microsoft does not care about them selling 100 million of those $600 consoles, right? If they sell 1 million of them, they're going to be happy, because a lot of people are still going to be buying the X or buying the lesser price Scarlet, and Sony's just going to have that main PS5 at launch. And I think that Sony has to be more careful about the price and stuff like that. Microsoft is like, okay, well, you know what? We're expecting to have 1 billion people stream our games through Cloud X. We're going to have, millions of people playing on the Xbox One X and probably the S still. We're going to have millions of people playing on the PC. So I think that Microsoft looks at things a lot differently than Sony, and that is something that people have to remember as well. What's good for Sony isn't always good for Microsoft, and what's good for Microsoft isn't always good for Sony. Microsoft is what, like the richest company in the US now, worth more than Apple, right? They didn't get that way by accident. They've got obviously great ideas, and people like their products, and they have this whole people first mentality right now. And I think that's something that is really cool, and you can't really underestimate that. I think that is something that Microsoft really has to kind of rely on more so now than ever. Simply put, Microsoft has the money to do what they want, and they can afford to to put as much tech as they want into their new console to attract those hardcore. And I think that's what's going to be, that's what they're going to be continuing to do in the future as well. So hopefully we do continue to see them invest and put out quality consoles, because I want that competition. Hey, if you're a Sony guy, don't you want that competition too? I mean, honestly, don't you? Let's see. Other Zinc says, this podcast is garbage. I'm glad I don't listen to your show anymore. Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man. It's okay. I'm just out here. It's not really a podcast. I'm just out here kind of chatting with you guys, having a good time. Crap, when Sony makes new announcements next year, do you have any excuses ready when they do? Remember, Ashen was announced in 2014. Sony can't do the same. Hey, I think Sony can do the same. They've done the same. Ashen isn't a first-party game, though. That's going to go to PlayStation as well. Shane says, do you think there's any truth behind people Apple buying Sony? And if Sony starts streaming, they would have any excuses anymore. It's about $7, crap. Hey, I know what you're saying, man. I get it. I think that streaming is going to be something that Sony does in the future as well. That Detroit game only sold 2 million. Please explain to me how it only sold 2 million when you have 90 million consoles. I don't get how that's a hit. Well, first of all, Sir X-Man, it's not a hit. Second, That is a shame that that game sold only 2 million. If you go back, I reviewed that game. I absolutely loved that game. I thought it was so amazing. I did. I thought it was crazy good. The story was amazing. It really just blew my mind how great that game was. The acting, everything was just amazing. And now, like, it sold 2 million, which I guess is okay, but that game should have sold way more than that. That game really, really, really should have sold a lot more than that. So, hey, I know that it's not Sony as a whole, bro. We're just discussing the possibilities of the movie division possibly being sold out. And what would that mean for PlayStation? Because there would be some kind of ramifications there, right? Like they wouldn't have some of that extra income that they make from what they do in the movies and things like that. Like I said, Venom, what that do? Just made like $1 billion or something. So yeah, I mean that's an incredible amount of money. But at the same time, Apple is a large company. They are a huge company, and to really kind of discount what they're doing would be crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't, because I think that Sony has plans for their movies, and they're actually have, to their credit, have been making some pretty good movies lately. What is that? Like, I think they do Jumanji, right? And now I liked that last one. I thought that was fantastic. I thought they did a really good job with that. So I don't see why they wouldn't continue to do some great movies like that. I hear they're going to do a sequel to that. Excuse me, taking a drink real quick. And I think they'll continue to do really well with that. And I think that's something that they need. I don't think that they'll ever sell the movie thing. It's not like some of these other things that we see, you know what I mean, that Sony has dropped. Let's see. Jay Primo says, whatever, ... Appreciate it. Xbox rocks the world with new ideas and Sony copies other ideas. You know what's sad about that, Goth Witch Girl? Sony used to be super inventive. And then they kind of just started following different trends. And when you chase trends, that's not really a good thing. Let's see. Iceman says, where's Mooch? No, this isn't MNC. We both missed MNC this past Thursday. It ended up not working. I felt bad. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I'll see if I can make it in time. I'll do a live stream and just kind of take some questions and talk about a couple of the things that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, if you guys were looking for an Xbox One X, right now is the time to get it. It's on sale everywhere with multiple games. It's really amazing time to pick one up. They're selling it with like Forza Horizon 4. I've seen different bundles and things like that for like $100 off. So they really are kind of giving it to everybody at a really cheap price. So I think that that's something that a lot of people should look into if you haven't really had a chance to pick it up yet. Please hit the like button as you come in, share it out and things like that, because sometimes YouTube doesn't like to share stuff. I don't know, hopefully they do. For me personally, like I'm looking forward to what we're getting next year. If you look at some of the games that are coming out, believe it or not, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game that I am looking forward to getting. Are you guys thinking about picking up Kingdom Hearts 3? Some of that Resident Evil 2 remake, that looks amazing graphically, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get it or not. Forza Horizon 4 DLC, right? I got that too. I haven't even had a chance to beat that whole game yet, though. I guess there is no beating it, but I haven't finished all the races and things like that. So, hey, Seth, I don't think PlayStation is going to go under. The PlayStation market makes a lot. The problem is it's a trend, right? So you have to beat the trends and know where the trends are coming in. Like Sony, like kind of didn't follow the trend, didn't know where the trend was going with the PS3, right? So when they came out the PS3, it's this hugely expensive thing. Hey, it's been 2 years since Xbox One NPD. Where's your mayo? Dude, that mayo is bad. It's gone bad, folks. I can't even use it anymore. Yeah. So they thought they couldn't be touched, right? With the PS3, and then they come out with this expensive thing, and they're like, they made all these crazy promises, like 120 frames per second, and 1080p, and it was all this stuff that they couldn't do. And here's the thing: the PS3 was amazing. Like I had a PS3 that was backwards compatible and had all these SD card slots, a lot of stuff that it probably didn't even need. And it was a really nice piece of hardware. The problem was the games were hard to develop for it. So, it was, it's a little bit tough to really to really kind of underestimate where they come from. You have to look at the PS2. The PS2 dominated the market with what 93% of the total market share, like beating the GameCube and the Xbox by such a large margin. And then for them to lose all of that the following generation, even if, because people will still go, well, the PS3 ended up selling just about as many as the Xbox 360, and the Wii, of course, sold better than both. But at the same time, where they came from, where you have 93% of the market share total, and then to get kicked back to like less than what 33% market share, that's a huge loss, and it cost them so much money. So when they come out with the PS4, they really jumped on Microsoft when they needed to, because Microsoft shot themselves in the foot. They're like, hey, we've got this console, but you got to do this, and you got to be on, and people just freaked out. And so obviously Sony did a good job of kind of feeding on that. And, good for them, because I don't want them to go under. If it wasn't for them doing free games with PlayStation Plus, we wouldn't have free games with Xbox Live, and if it wasn't for Sony touting 1080p in resolution, we wouldn't have the Xbox One X. So I'm very happy that these companies kind of play off each other, and they're able to sort of accomplish some of these things. And at the end of the day, I think everybody should be excited about that, because, that's better. Like, no matter what type of gamer you are, if you're a casual gamer, the base PS4 Slim, the Xbox One S, those are going to be great for you, right? You're going to be able to play games, and they're going to play well, and they're going to look good, and all that kind of stuff. If you're that hardcore gamer and you have a 4K TV and you really want to play the best and you're a console gamer, excuse me, because if you want to play a PC and you want to spend enough, you can get as much out of it as you want. And I think that's perfectly awesome and perfectly fine. But if you're a console gamer and you want to play these games the best, and you have a 4K TV, you're going to want to get the Pro and the X. That's just how it is. And Microsoft, I think, and Sony are both smart to realize that people don't want to wait. Well, not everybody wants to wait, 7 years to buy it in between consoles. And that's very important going forward. So I like that these companies are so out there kind of doing that. You know what I mean? I think it's really, really cool. Anybody have any questions? Fallout 76. I haven't even got a chance to play that yet. I did go back and play Sea of Thieves, though. I love that, man. I love that Sea of Thieves stuff, man. It's really good stuff. I know a lot of people don't like Sea of Thieves, but I enjoy Sea of Thieves. I think it's great. So I thought that new DLC is fantastic. Dude, you can't play market share. I get you, but you got to understand that market share is a lot of what these companies report to when you have board of directors and things like that. And to lose that much, and now to come back, if Sony needs the market share much more than Microsoft does. Microsoft, like I said, what are they, $1 trillion company without having the number one console? I mean, they have a console that does well, but they've got like all this ideas and things like that. Do you think next year we'll see more studios getting acquired by Microsoft? I just did a video about this not long ago. It looks like they're going to acquire the studio called Piranha Studios, who are working on a mech warrior game for PC. And I think that they're going to be the next studio that Microsoft gets. But there's also rumors of at least a couple more after that. So I think that's what we're going to be seeing as well. Crap, what do you think of Outer Worlds? You know what? I think that game looks good. It looks like a cross between Borderlands and Fallout, but better than Fallout, thankfully. I do think it looks cool. Let's see. Do you think enough blood has been shed in the console wars? What do you mean? I'm not really sure. To me, I look at console wars like I look at football, right? Like, I'll talk smack on somebody that likes the Steelers or the Patriots. But I don't really think of it as anything serious, to be honest with you. I've never ever looked at it that way. Like, I'd like to joke around and stuff like that, but it's not serious. It's just consoles. It's just video games. So have I tried Ashen yet? Game Pass, I have not had a chance to try it yet. Like I said, I've been really busy lately. Oh, the Devil May Cry 5 demo is amazing, by the way. That is a day one buy. I never thought that I would like a Devil May Cry game, but that game is amazing. Let's see. What's your thoughts on PSVR? I think Sony needs to push it more than they are. Well, here's the thing. PSVR is amazing. I think they did really well over the holidays with that, because they were selling it for $200. $200 is the price point where a casual will want to try it. So I've been pushing PSVR for a long time. I think it's amazing. I have absolute blast with PSVR. I think it's like the funnest thing ever. And I hope they do continue to push it. It looks like they are. Thankfully, games like Astrobot really bring it to the forefront, right? So people will be like, "Hey, man, that's like the Mario 64 of VR games." Right. And that's the truth. So it makes people curious, and curiosity leads to sales, and then sales lead to more sales and more innovation. Now I get it. Not everybody likes VR, and that's fine. Keep it as an option. It'll always, hopefully it's just always just an option. And I think it will be, nobody's going to give up their standard way that they play games to play in VR. It's just not going to happen. Do you think Microsoft will go back to test VR for Xbox? I hope they do, because I want to play Xbox VR. I would like to. And look, you don't have to get the same studios that make the main games to make a VR, or just have some of them, right? I would love to play a Halo VR game, or a Gears VR game, or a Forza VR game. Something, one of those living worlds. I think those would be amazing. And there's so much richness and history there. Like when I played that Star Wars level, there's only one level of Star Wars in Battlefront 1, and it's a VR level, and you're in an X-Wing, but I was driving an X-Wing. That is amazing to me. Like, I was able to fly around space in an X-Wing doing missions. That is what I've dreamed of since I was a kid. That was so fun. And that's really, I was Batman too. And you look in the mirror and you're Batman, and you lift your arm and you're Batman, like, it was just such an amazing thing. I was like a lot of the skeptics out there with VR, right? I was like, VR, who really cares? Hey, Foxy, sorry. I know VR, not great. Although Fox, Mel, and Xbot, I think they're loving the VR, right? I think they are. Gears VR, Fox, think about it. You could be Anya, right? Running around, kicking some ass. I think that would be amazing. VR is really, really something that I enjoy. So I get that not everybody does, but still, I enjoy it, and I think it's really cool. You know what I mean? It's my bag, baby. So yeah. Sorry. Astrobot is a lot of fun, Iceman. It is. It's really cool. Like, I really, really love Astrobot. Give it a try. And if you want to play Moss as well, that's a really cool game as well. Do you think Scarlet is worth it to upgrade from the X Day 1? Dashwee, I don't know, right? Like, I have to see what it does. I think that it's going to be doing 4K 60 on most everything. So if those extra frames are worth it to you, then yes. I don't know if right away we're going to be seeing a big difference graphically, but I think the frames are where we're going to start seeing some of those things start to come into play a little bit more, right? So I do think it's worth it if you're very, very much interested in getting those extra frames on your games. What console games did you play before Xbox existed? Because you say you don't play a lot of certain games, and that's all that existed at one time. Okay, so the first console I owned was an NES, right? And my favorite game, and still might be my favorite game of all time, is Super Mario Brothers 3. So when I played the NES, the games that I played was like Mario 1, 2, 3, Castlevania. I played Zelda. Oh man, I did a lot of like the licensed games that weren't really good as well, because you didn't really know back then, right? There was no internet. Sometimes you get Nintendo Power, but Nintendo Power made every game look like it was amazing. So I played a lot of those games, and then I had a Genesis and a Super Nintendo and a PlayStation 1. And then I bought a Nintendo 64, which was the first console that I bought myself with my own money, and a Dreamcast, which was the second console I bought myself with my own money. So yeah, man, and I love the Dreamcast, right? Because it was like arcade games that you go to the arcade for, but you had them on your home console, and I just thought that was awesome. I thought that was super cool. So yeah, I've loved gaming forever. I just really got into like the hardcore gaming. I would say within the last 20 years. Do you think Xbox will ever get a VR? I hope that they get a I hope that they gave VR Foxfire. Yeah, your first console was the NES, but you fell in love with the Genesis. Okay, when I played Sonic 2, right, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, because he could spin dash. That was it for me, man. It was like Toe Jam and Earl. Boom, 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 boop, boop, boop. You know, you got that little kind of funk music going on. I thought it was amazing, man. I still never beat that game because you get to the higher levels and the bees chase you, right? There was nothing like it. I was hooked. You know, it's just like this amazing experience to be able to play all these different games, you know, and it's just and like I said, it just kind of grew from there. Like when I first played Shenmue, for example, in the Dreamcast, I never played anything like it. I was like, holy cow, this is the future. This is future. This is the future right there. You know what I mean? Well, dude, there wasn't multiplayer games back then. I mean, I used to play 10-Yard Fight and Tecmo Bowl and Madden, but there's no online. You know, I just play with my brothers, you know? Uh can you damage control your failed tweet about bring me my axe boy, I'm about to lose my game of the year award. Well, if you actually go look at the tweet, I said that they're going to lose their Metacritic too, but people didn't really seem to want to remember that part of the tweet. And second thing is, I loved God of War. I thought it deserved it, man. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was probably it was definitely like an A or B. And for me, I enjoyed Red Dead Redemption 2 a little bit more, but God of War certainly did deserve to win. And I certainly love that game. That's why I bought the collector's edition, man. So no fail there, man. If you guys ever watch like First Take or Skip Bayless or anything like that, life would be pretty boring if you didn't make some of these bolder predictions and things like that. So I'll always make bold predictions and I'll always stick by what I think is going to happen. I didn't think that they would have, Rockstar Games lose, but there's no, it's really not really worth it to go, oh, well, crap hated on God of War because I gave it a 10 out of 10 and I said it was an amazing game. And I might have called it the single player game of the generation. Suicide King says, happy Sunday. There are still a few rumors about PS5 launching in 2019. If true, do you think the Xbox would stick to 2020 or move up to match Sony? I say there is 0% chance of a PS5 in 2019. Microsoft or Sony isn't even doing an E3. If they were going to really launch in 2019, they would certainly do an E3 and show off something, whether it be cross-gen games or whatever. So I think they're all going to be launching 2020. And that's also when the AMD said that their new APIs and stuff like that would be selling and they would see a pickup. So it's okay, Lethal Papa, man. This guy, Xbox Best Box, he's in here trying to bust my balls on something like I wouldn't respond to it. Hey, man, I've been wrong before about stuff, but you know, it's hard to really bust my balls about something when I gave it a 10 out of 10 and called it the single player game of the generation, right? I mean, come on. Like, get real. At least come at me with something a little bit different, you know? It doesn't really make sense. So, yeah. Well, let me take a drink real quick, fellas. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, you know, like I said, I like where gaming's going. Hey, man, Luke, Iceman, I see the new pickups. That Tetris effect is, I hear amazing things about that as well. Astrobot is a lot of fun, so you're going to really enjoy that as well. You know, that Kingdom Hearts 3 limited edition PS4 Pro, that looks amazing as well. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but hey, props to Sony for putting these amazing looking, consoles out there. When a lot of us ask Sony or ask Microsoft for those as well, and Microsoft, to their credit, have these amazing looking consoles, right? The real problem is these amazing looking consoles are like they give away like 5 of them and that's the end of them. You know what I mean? Like that Black Panther console was awesome. They put out so many consoles that look amazing. But hey, that's the way it goes, I guess. You know, hopefully we start to get some of those more type of consoles in the future. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about as well? So it looks like the next development kit for the Xbox is called Anaconda, according to Jez Gordon, which I saw this, and he kind of said that the next gen Xbox dev kit is codenamed Anaconda, which is keeping with the reptile theme. And it refers to only the console, the development kit, not the console's actual name. Like the dev kit for the Xbox One X was the Xbox Scorpio. and the code name for the Xbox One was Durango, which we all knew that it was the Durango and Scorpio and stuff like that. I thought that was cool because I'd heard that Microsoft already has some of this stuff shipped out to a lot of the developers and things like that. And so, I thought that was pretty cool. I think that's cool of them to actually be able to get that out there and get that in developers' hands, because the longer you have these consoles in developers' hands, the better they're going to be able to make the games, right? So if you look at some of the Xbox One X games that we got at launch, they weren't as good as possibly they could have been or should have been, just due to the fact that they didn't really have them in their hands for that long. So that is a little bit unfortunate, but still, I do think it's great that they're doing it. And there's rumors that Sony's going to have theirs out there in the wild very soon, if some developers don't already have it, which that's also a rumor too, is that some of these developers have these consoles and are working on the different games and stuff like that. So that is pretty cool. And, I look forward to seeing what's going to happen there. Will Apple keep the Sony brand when they acquire them in January 2019? Dude, supposedly it's just the movie part, but it's just a rumor right now. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. Sony sent out dev kits almost 2 years ago. No, that's actually not true, because maybe they sent them the first party, but I asked a few friends that I have that are developers if they're actually sending out the PS5 dev kits, and that's not true. So what are my thoughts on Mortal Kombat 11? You know what? I think that game looks phenomenal, and what a way to introduce it at the Game Awards, right? Like, we haven't seen that level of announcement at the Game Awards in a long time. So I love the fact that we've been able to get some big name game announcements at these awards for a change. So PS5 dev kit supposedly went out last month. That could be true. I've heard some stuff. Experimental dev kits are out. That could be hey, what's up, James176? Dude, I am on Cloud9. I will talk about this one day soon, what's going on. I usually don't talk about personal life and stuff like that, but let me just say that things are going extremely well for me in that area, and I'm very, very happy. Crap, do you think Xbox should take the traditional route of exclusives for only on Xbox? Do you appreciate them branching out? Oh, that's a good question, man. Look, I hate Play Anywhere. I think that is stupid. I'm not going to lie, right? Like, I think the streaming thing is fine, like, because it's not actually playing the game natively. It's just a streaming thing. But I think Play Anywhere actually takes away a little bit of value from your console. I do think that. I'm sorry. I'm not like, oh, they shouldn't do it for sure. But I think it's stupid because I never use it. I think that very few people use it. If there's some games that I think probably are okay on PC, but I hate the way that Microsoft treats the PC people, right, versus the console people. Like, the PC people get all of our games free online, right? They force us to play with the PC people online, where they were cheating on Sea of Thieves, which is ridiculous. And then the PC people get exclusives that we don't get, right? That's the part that I dislike. Okay. Like, I thought that Gears, Forza, and Halo should have always been console only. And I know that they had Halo 1 and 2 on PC early, and I know Gears 1 was on PC, but those are system-selling games. Keep them on your console. You want to stream them? Fine. That's different than actually having them on something else. So that's that's really, really something that's I don't know. I guess it makes me sound salty. I don't really care. Dude, Iceman says they cheat on Gears of War 2. This is why I disable that, Iceman. I do not play with PC people on Gears of War because, first of all, that keyboard and mouse crap is for the birds. And you know that stuff's going to... And I have a feeling they're going to do that stuff with the Halo game too. Something tells me they're going to have it. What would you think about Microsoft porting Rare games over to the Switch? I don't really have a thought on that, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'd have mixed emotions, honestly. I would think that I wouldn't do that, only because I think that's a two-way street, and I think that Microsoft should have been able to use stuff like Donkey Kong on Rare Replay then, right? Like that fair would have been fair. Are you it's a Play Anywhere and go on vacation? It's nice to be able to play some games on your laptop. Well, I hear what you're saying there, but for me, I haven't been on a vacation since 2000. Yeah, 2000. So 18, almost 19 years. And like the times where I've even been out where I was going somewhere, I took my portable game systems, man. I have a 3DS, I have a Vita, I had a PSP, I had a DS. So yeah, you know, Sir X-Man says, I noticed there's a lot less advertising for games coming out like there used to be. Our games come out in January, February, no advertising. That is strange. There's so many games coming out that it's insane, right? So obviously Kingdom Hearts 3 I'm going to get, even though I have never played a Kingdom Hearts game. That game looks amazing. I might get Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm definitely getting Crackdown 3. I'm going to pick up Anthem. Something tells me it's just going to be like Destiny and I'm going to hate it, but I'm still going to get it and I'm going to play it. Who was talking like Crapgamer with that avatar? Bring the albino rhino back. Hey, D, what's up? Hey, man, I had to make the change a little bit, man. We went, I'll always be the albino rhino, man. Take a look at my comment section, the crap that I take from people. Thick skin, man. Z gave me that nickname. He's like the albino rhino, and it stuck, man. And I'll always be the albino rhino, man. I'll always be with the albino. Okay, so D, there's this rumor going around, or supposedly the Xbox One X outsold the PS4 Pro by a 2-to-1 margin. So that's sort of what I was talking about earlier on as well. And then obviously the Apple thing that keeps popping up, the rumor of them with the movie division and things like that. So, you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to play Kingdom Hearts. Like I said, I'm going to play Crackdown 3. You know, I'm not sure exactly what the deal is with some of the games not getting advertised like they should. That's a little bit underwhelming in my opinion, but at the same time, I am excited to see what we're gonna get. And March and January, this is gonna be like the first time in a long time that we've actually had so many games come out so early in the year, right? Like maybe Days Gone is still gonna be coming out. I don't know if that's still gonna come out in when they said it was, but you know, that's still a possibility, you know, and you know, it's gonna be funny. You think Microsoft fixing their marketing will help them sell better? TurboGrafx and Wii U had terrible marketing. That's why they got severely hurt. Well, yeah, I think that the marketing, here's the thing. For some reason, Microsoft believes that that nobody watches TV anymore. And that's not the case. People still watch TV. I saw commercials every single second for God of War, Spider-Man, right? And those games sold well. I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, Matthew says, I've heard a couple people saying the PS5 could be 8K capable. That's actually not true. What happened was there was this trade show, and I guess they were having Gran Turismo Sport, which has 8K polygons for the cars or whatever, running at 8K or whatever. That would be an astronomical price to do that in a console. So they're not going to be doing that. That's like 100% not going to happen. We're not going to see any of that stuff in the future. So, I wouldn't expect 8K. Why would they jump to 8K when I think 4K is less than what 40% of the people actually have a 4K TV right now? So obviously, 8K is one of those things that's so far off, like probably way more than a generation at this point. You know what I mean? So, see, D-Bat says 8K TV was the promo for PC not doing 8K, but console will. Yeah. See, that's not happening, man. That was like just some BS that was going on. You know, Microsoft obviously and Sony are trying to stay ahead of the game a little bit, but I think it's kind of ridiculous to think that we'll see like some kind of 8K stuff going on anytime soon. I would rest easy. We're not getting 8K. You know, it's just I don't see that happening, you know. I don't think that that's something that's going to happen, but that's not to say that it will never happen. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. You know, it's just one of those things that doesn't make sense right now. It doesn't make sense. There's like 8K TVs are like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So, yeah, see, it's for like, there's one 8K TV for commercial market. So yeah, like you don't even have to worry about that one. No one will invest in another TV mere months after getting 4K. Dude, I've had my 4K TVs for a year and a half, something like that, 2 years. I don't remember exactly when I got my first one, but Yeah, it's amazing leap. And I'm not sure I want to watch movies in 8K. Watching movies in 4K, you see people sweat and they look gross. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's like for me, it's not really something that I'll get. Like maybe when they're cheaper, right? Like I didn't get a 4K TV till I found the deal, and it had to be under $1,000. Man, I'm not gonna pay, you know, thousands of dollars for a TV. I'm too cheap to do that. I'm too poor to do that. I don't have Mooch isn't here, man. Mooch had to work or something. I just decided to do a live stream because I missed MNC. I finally got my LG OLED. I can't even look at games the same. Dude, I hear the OLEDs are so amazing. I can't afford it, man. I can't afford it. Seeing 4K TVs for the first time actually messed with my head, as it sometimes look better than in real life, dude. So no, I'm not a germaphobe at all, not at all, man. I work with dogs, and like part of my job working with dogs and rescues and stuff like that, I clean up after them. So yeah, man, just that is what it sounds like, right? Like you guys familiar with horse stalls and stuff, right? When you muck out stalls, basically you clean out the crap and stuff like that. That's basically when I'm taking care of dogs. That's what I do because you got to take care of them, and that's part of the job. And you know, they obviously animals can't take care of themselves, so you got to clean up after them and feed them and give them some attention and things like that. You give a dog that's been hurt or not used to being loved a good place, a safe place, a lot of love and attention and food, and they turn into like a whole new thing. And I love that. And that's what my job is basically is my day job. So Elemento Pino says, why doesn't Microsoft have a trade-in discount program for people who still have vanilla Xbox? I have no idea, man. They should. They should. This is Crapgamer Reviews LG's OLED fund. Hey, man, Axel, I appreciate it. I have $5 in my OLED fund. I really do appreciate that, man. I'm gonna have to set aside a fund for that, man. So yeah, so those that didn't know, that's what I do. I've been a dog trainer for a long time. I've got my first kennel job when I was but a mere teenager, and I ended up doing so well there that the lady who ran the place was like a boarding facility and also did dog training there and like dog daycare. So I was like all in the front end of that stuff. Like people who work jobs will drop off their puppies and stuff so they can play together, so they're all tired out and they don't have to sit in a cage all day, and then they pick them up at the end of the day like you would with a kid, right? But dogs. And so within my first like 3 years of working at this place, and this was like one of my first real jobs, quote unquote, I was the manager there. I was the head dog trainer there. And that's where I kind of got my love of doing all that stuff. And that kind of branched out. I was able to rescue dogs from other states and stuff like that. They were about to be put to sleep into a shelter that doesn't do that, and adopt them out. And what I also do is like low cost dog training. There's not a lot of money in this, folks. You gotta love what you're doing. So what happens is a lot of people will adopt a dog and they don't know how to take care of it, or they'll be ready to give it up to the pound or something, right? Where it'll end up getting put down. What I do is low cost training for these people, so that, and sometimes honestly no cost, because I'd rather save the dog life than than make some money. So I basically help them train their dogs and show them what they can do to help their dogs to behave, behavior modification and things like that. So that's what I do. In my day-to-day life. So DJ Singh says losing dogs is hard. Yes, I had a 13-year-old hound dog that I lost, and it was like the hardest thing ever. And that they're like family, man. These dogs are like the thing that sucks most about dogs is they aren't around as long as they should be, and I always say this: if you're a type of person that first of all, adopt, because those dogs are so grateful and they need homes, and there's always going to be people that buy dogs. But for me personally, adopting dogs is where it's at. That's you can you can save a life doing that. And if you ever have a dog that you love so much and you have it for years, right, and then that dog passes away, you do a disservice to that dog if you go, I'm never going to get another dog because it's too hard to go through that. That's a disservice for your dog. Your dog always, these dogs want us to be happy. So doctors and scientists have figured out that dogs, when they view us, right? Well, like say you have a dog and you come home and they get real happy. That is the emotion, same emotion as we humans have when we see someone we love. So these dogs care about us. They love us. They wouldn't want us to suffer. They wouldn't want us to be alone. They wouldn't want us not to have other dogs. So always do that anyway. And that's sort of what I do. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's being around animals and then they pass. And not only have they had that, but I've also dealt with dogs that people used for like dog fighting and things like that. And that is the hardest thing, some of the hardest things I've ever dealt with. Seeing people that use them for bait dogs and things like that, where they wrap, that's I don't stand for, you know what I mean? Like that stuff is the stuff that I deal with a lot. So that's sort of what I do with my day-to-day life. You know what I mean? It's that's crap gamer. That's my life. I deal with that stuff. So sports, yes. My team does play today, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, Soldier Boy does have a console coming out apparently, or it's out, and it's like some kind of weird video video game console or something. They're like these cheap little knockoff ROMs and stuff. Probably still better than the PlayStation Classic, but still, I think that I just thought that was hilarious when I saw that. I was like, that guy hasn't been like super relevant in a very long time. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Very, very excited to sort of see what happens there. Hey Shane, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you know what? Look, here, originally when I started doing this channel, and I say this a lot because people do not they have trouble differentiating like a person. Okay, so like I like the AVGN, Angry Video Game Nerd, right? And that guy, he's James, and he's funny in that character, but people don't understand that that's like some people, I guess, don't understand that's a character or whatever, and probably think he's like that in real life, and he's not. When I first started this channel, man, I was a big Howard Stern fan, Bubba the Love Sponge, like where they're knocking out these zingers, making fun of people and stuff like that, and I had a good time with that. It got me a lot of hate. And as time grew on, I decided to be more like myself, and I didn't I didn't talk about myself or what I do or things like that. And, over the years, I've sort of kind of mellowed out on that, and I don't mind that people know that I'm not like this huge asshole. Like I'm an Xbox fan for sure, but I'm not like this guy that goes around there hating on I don't hate anybody. I don't hate on anything. I poke fun at PlayStation like I poke fun at the Patriots or the Steelers. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's just I do it for fun. Doing YouTube videos and playing video games is an escape from what I do with animals and just day-to-day life. So when people understand that, then I think they understand a little bit more about what I do. Yeah, I guess you could say I'm an Xbox fanboy. I mean that's fine. I wear that label. I don't mind. We're all a fanboy at something, right? No matter what it is, man, whether it's a car, whether it's maybe you have your favorite Coke or Pepsi. Are you a Coke or Pepsi fanboy? Are you do you like the National League or American League baseball? Who's your favorite sports team in basketball? Or you like the Lakers now because they got LeBron? Are you a Lakers fanboy? Like that's everything. Everything's a fanboy. Like and it seems like only console people get any kind of hate for that. When I know for a fact that everybody has a preference. That is so amazing to me that people want to call out gaming as it's like the only place that has fanboys. It's not. It's just not. Yeah, Coke, but I don't mind drinking Pepsi. I'm a Pepsi guy, man. Yeah, dude. AVGN is hilarious. You could just sit back and watch that dude, like his older shows, and just leave that on playthrough, man. And that's what I do to this day, man. Sometimes I'll just sit there and turn on AVGN and watch it. That guy is hilarious. He does really cool stuff. That's what sort of got me into doing videos as well. I thought he was hilarious and just so over the top and funny, but I totally got it, man. Like I got the joke, You know, it's just it's just a joke. Hey, there is no such thing as a neutral. If somebody's out there saying they're a neutral, they're just BSing you. You can't BS a BSer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what? Like animals and animal placements, and I've lost my fair share where you couldn't help them. Maybe they were used for fighting, and I wasn't able to get them to be calm enough to be adopted out, you know. And so if they're dangerous and then you lose them that way, that sucks. You know what I mean? Why doesn't any of your well, it does, man. It depends on what you're talking about. Like I'm talking about right now exactly what's in the title, bro. The price drop increases Xbox One X sales and Apple buying out Sony and the possibility of that and what it means to the what it would mean to the PlayStation brand. So it really just depends on what you're an Ouya guy, huh? I don't know, man. I don't know anything about the Ouya. I know it plays some games. I know it's probably better than that PlayStation Classic, but then again, what's not, right? Let's see. Any other questions? Get some more question. Let's see here. Why am I on cloud nine? I will talk about that at a later date. I don't really. I will talk about that at a later date. It's really good stuff, though. Is Apple just try? Yeah. So supposedly, right? Supposedly Apple might be looking into buying the movie division of Sony because they want to compete more with Amazon and Google and all these other companies that stream. TLR9. I am not sure about BGST tonight. There might be BGST tonight. I'm not sure. So yeah, it wouldn't be PlayStation, but what would it mean for PlayStation? Like that's a good question. That was my question, right? So that would mean PlayStation is 100% on its own. You know, exactly, Foxy. That means that PlayStation would be 100% on its own. What would that mean? Like to me, that's dangerous. You know, like right now, it's like Sony reports all their stuff through a little bit of everything. So what would it mean if there was only, you know, the PlayStation division holding it up? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that is a weird thing to think about. I actually hope not, though. You know what I mean? I would actually prefer for Sony to keep doing their own thing, keep doing what they're doing. You know, that's I think something that they definitely have to keep doing. Just do their own thing. You know, that's just I like them doing what they're doing. Keep the competition going. You know, and I think that that's what like all the fans and stuff want too. So hopefully we do continue to see that happening because at the end of the day, hey, I like the competition between Microsoft and Sony. I think that it's probably one of the better fights. I wish Microsoft would take it a little bit more seriously. You know, I do. I wish that they would like Xbox Fight Back. You guys remember that whole thing back in the day? I do wish that they did that. Are you disappointed with the Denver Broncos losing to the Browns? Well, I actually see. I'm hoping my Ravens can get that last playoff spot. So the Broncos losing helps. You know, so it doesn't really matter. Crap, stop. You want Sony to I don't want Sony to fail. If Sony failed, that would be terrible. Well, you and I don't know who JTV is. What's the best way to help my pit? She's nervous all the time. I chew gum and pop a bubble. She'll run to the bedroom. You know what? If you have a nervous dog, if you can socialize her, right? So if you can take her around other people, other animals, she could have been. I don't know the story. Obviously, you got to get some kind of the background on some of this stuff. But always sort of having other animals around and socialize them at an early age. So if you have pit bulls or pit bull mixes, they get a bad reputation. But what you have to do is make sure you socialize at a very young age, at a very early age. Keep your dogs inside. Keep them around different things. In fact, pit bulls were once known as quote unquote nanny dogs because people used to use them to watch kids because they were so loyal and protective. So I wish Sony would make a game with replay value. Well, I guess that's Other Zinc. I guess that is a situation where having something with some multiplayer would come into a factor, right? You know what I mean? I think that the fact that Sony has stuck to more of the single player games, because that's the drum they're beating right now. I think that's what they're sort of focused on. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, just like, look, Seth, I get it, right? Like I said this earlier today. Where were you when I said this? Sony should step out of that little cave and do something multiplayer. Microsoft should step out of that cave and do something single player, right? I think both of these companies would benefit from that. And you know who else would benefit from that? Us, the fans, right? The fans. Crap, do you still have an OG Xbox? I damn well do have my OG Xbox, and I actually just got this pound HD link cable for the original Xbox that lets me hook up an HDMI and record stuff from it. I just haven't had a time to do that, you know? Hey, Salty, what's up, bro? 10 minutes for another Arizona Cardinals loss. Nice. Bought Star Wars Battlefront 2 for $9.99, and a week later, EA Access. Well, you own it now. I think it's a good game. How do you feel when Ray Lewis retired? He's my favorite player. I met him once and got his autograph on a football. He seems like a really good guy. Honestly, I know that a lot of people will like, oh, he did this or did that. He's a good guy. If you look into the story of what happened to him in the bar fight or whatever, the only thing he was ever guilty of was not snitching out people he knew. And then later on, he ended up like, you know, sort of doing that anyway. So, you know, no, Ray Lewis didn't murder anybody. That was, they thought they had somebody because he's a famous football player. So he never was, there was never any kind of murder, anything like that. So yeah, he's one of my all-time favorite football players. Oh, come on, man, with the jokes and stuff like that, man. Come on, man. What do you think of Lamar Jackson? I think Lamar Jackson brings an element to that team that they have not had in forever. Being able to go out there and show different looks, and it helps the running game. I mean, last week they almost beat probably one of the best teams in the league, Kansas City, really. So how do I feel about the Eagles? I think the Eagles suck, clowns, and that's what you get for saying Florida's sinking. We're as sturdy as we've ever been, clowns. Sturdy as we've ever been, damn it. Exactly, dude. Like, if you follow Ray Lewis on Twitter, he gives some of the most inspirational quotes you'll ever need, right? Sometimes in my life, I've needed some of those, some of that inspiration. I think we all need inspiration once in a while. I get that the internet is a place where we can all be assholes and we can all be something else if we choose to be. But I also feel that deep down, we all have some insecurities and we could all use some inspiration or some positivity here and there. And I'm not talking about like snowflake positivity or anything like that. I'm just talking about in life, because I am I'm like the opposite of a snowflake, right? But everybody needs some positivity once in a while in their life. And, you know, he's one of those guys that he has some good inspirational stuff and some good stories and stuff like that. So if you guys get a chance to follow that guy on Twitter, he does, you know, it's a good job. You know, I think that that's something that, you know, I strive for and look for in life is the positive in things. So, you know, I really enjoy that. Do we have any other questions? Let's see. Oh, Bears. Rob, you don't need the inspiration. You are the. Hey, man, good for you, man. Good for you. I would take Lamar over over who I have, the red water pistol. Are you gonna watch TLC? Yeah, I got a feeling. Like, here's the thing. Like, when it comes to wrestling, my favorite wrestler are Braun Strowman on the men's side. I like Alexa Bliss on the women's side. Both of them have been out with injuries, so it's been kind of boring to me. Plus, I don't like the whole Brock Lesnar being champ thing again. I think that's annoying, and I think that Braun isn't going to do much tonight because he just had surgery. My favorite OG Xbox game, I have a couple. I think Halo and Escape from Butcher Bay. Those have been those are probably my two favorite. When I played Escape from Butcher Bay on my original Xbox, that was like a whole nother level for me. Has there been a game that surprised me this year? You know, the game that surprised me the most was Red Dead Redemption 2, because I played the first one and got bored, and so I wasn't expecting it to actually be as good as it was. When will you take a vacation during Christmas? I'll probably, here's the thing. I can plan a video in advance and then drop them, right? So I wasn't home at all yesterday and still was able to drop some videos. So I do have some Christmas plans this year, but I'll still probably do at least a video a day, you know? I like doing that. You know what I mean? I just like doing the content and stuff like that. Have I played Mutant Year Zero? No, I haven't. I downloaded it, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm not real big into the XCOM style games, but I do think that it's one of those things where there is an audience for that, and so hopefully people kind of really get into people seem to like that stuff, so I think that's pretty cool. And I gotta say, for me personally, that's a game that I'll probably give a try out. But again, even like that Gears one, I wasn't like a big fan of that. You know what I mean? Like that style, that's not really my thing. So because XCOM I played for a little bit and then was like, I could take it or leave it. It didn't really matter to me. So, just kind of how I did it. Y9 Power says you rock. Thanks. How's Blackout coming along? I like Blackout. I haven't played it a whole bunch because I really like I really like the multiplayer, just like the TDM and stuff. Seth says if you've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, why are you getting the new one? Hey, you know what, dude? Hardly anybody played the Witcher series, but everybody and their mother bought the Witcher 3, right? Because the game looked good. So for me, Kingdom Hearts 3 looked good. I want to get it. So, yo, Crap, is this a new format you doing with your channel? Hyper Smurf, I do these little kind of personal one-on-one shows once in a while. I'm going to try to do them once a week as time permits because I like answering the questions and stuff and kind of interacting with you guys on that level. So, let's see. Do you think Microsoft will try to acquire new studios in 2019? Piranha Games and I think a couple other studios. So I think those are going to be, pretty cool. And that's going to be cool to see, man. They're going to get many more games. Let's see. You think we'll get an NFL 2K game? Nope. I wish that we could get a new NFL game. I hope that we do continue to get NFL games. You know what I mean? Or NFL 2K game would be nice. Let's see. Well, it says, hey, Hangouts is going to go. Well, supposedly 2020 or something like that. But they dropped some of that support for it before. There'll probably be something else in its place. So, as long as I can continue to do these, then I'll continue doing them. And when I can't, hey, I won't. But I don't see that they would stop people from being able to do videos like this where you're live and able to kind of do that kind of stuff. So, yeah, hopefully not anyway. You know what I mean? I enjoy doing them. So, hey, NCAA football games were cool too, man. I used to love those, the EA Sports ones. 2K used to do them as well. I guess they got in some kind of trouble for it though. So, do you think Sega will make a Saturn or a Dreamcast Mini? The only problem that I see with that is Sega used a lot of licensed music back in the day. Like if you look at Crazy Taxi, there was a lot of Offspring on that. And I think that that could be a bit of a problem going forward. You can't have all that kind of licensed music. And I think they would have a hard time getting it again. If you ever play Crazy Taxi after they lost the license to that music, it's terrible, right? Because you just picture the Offspring singing that song and stuff like that. Hey, can you guys do me a big favor, man? We're 9 away from getting 200 likes. Please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Do you remember those EA big games? I have some of those still. I think they were was like NFL Street and stuff like that. Which game do you think Microsoft's going to have a sequel? Sunset Overdrive, Rise 2, Quantum Break. I would love to see all 3 of those, but I think in particular Quantum Break 2 or Sunset Overdrive 2 would be the ones that I'd want to see the most. Yeah, see, 360 Crazy Taxi has different music, but it sucks. Exactly. The music is such a kick-ass thing in those games. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Moose Tube? Appreciate you coming out, stuff like that. I'm hyped for Anthem. Hey, I hear you, man. I'm excited about it. I just hope that it's good. I don't want to be stuck in another Destiny situation. Destiny's kind of boring to me. Super Lucky's Tales 2. Man, what a great game that would be. No lie. I see Phil Spencer on Super Lucky's Tales all the time. See you, clowns, man. Appreciate you coming out for stopping out for a little bit, bro. Keep it Xbox, man. Apple will buy Sony, not just Sony Pictures. I don't know if they can afford it. Do you think you'll beat Rand in achievements on Xbox? Hell no. Rand is a machine. You know, I think he plays games a lot more than me. You know what I mean? Like with my job and like I have my own business and stuff, so it's difficult to find the time to be able to game like that. You know, so I think he has like, and he might be a little bit of a night owl too. So I got to go to bed early because I get up early. Jet Set Radio would be great, man. The price drop on Xbox One X right now is like $100, and a lot of them are doing that whole like you know, you get a couple free games including in that as well. Does Rare own the N64 007? Nope, they don't, unfortunately. Do you think Microsoft will get the timed exclusive content for Call of Duty games again? I don't think this year. I would love to see them get it eventually, though. They need a Rise sequel. Oh, dude, I would love a Rise sequel. And what the hell has Crytek done this generation besides Rise 1? I mean, what have they done? Like, they haven't even done any of their bread and butter, which, as you guys know, is, you know, like the Crysis games. We haven't had a single Crysis game this generation. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe it. It's crazy to think that we haven't seen that. So, hopefully we do get that sooner rather than later. I would love to see that, and I think that a lot of other people would as well. So I'm looking forward to that. What games are you looking forward to with all these developer acquisitions? I am looking forward to Ninja Theory. I hear they have a single-player game that's supposed to be decent. I'm looking forward to the Fable game from Playground Games. I'm looking forward to whatever the initiative's working on because it's supposed to be huge. So those are the ones that I'm mostly looking forward to. I think Twisted Metal's done Philosopher Doom, but I agree. Twisted Metal was amazing. Do you think the initiative is only working on an Uncharted type of game? I think they're working on something with multiplayer and single player. I think they're going to do something, not Gears per se, but something that has great single player and a great multiplayer. Microsoft should buy Crytek and develop a new Crysis game. I wouldn't say no to that. Microsoft and Crytek should kiss and make up. They should. Microsoft has money. Crytek needs money. To me, that's simple. That should work out right there. Resident Evil 2 remake. That game does look good. I just have to wonder if they're gonna be able to like kind of pull that off. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. Have you heard any news on GTA 6? Dude, if you sold as many copies of GTA 5 as they did, I don't know if I'd be in a hurry to make GTA 6. So the initiative could be working on multiple games. I don't know. Any other questions before I get Apple buyout signing? Well, no, Apple, the rumor is to buy Sony Pictures. Like that could happen. Best wrestling game ever. I think one of those N64 wrestling games that I had. I don't remember exactly which one, but yeah, it was a pretty damn good N64 game, I gotta say. So, yep. Share this out. Hit the like button, man. I'll be back, and I'll make sure to do this probably once a week. You guys all have a great holiday, okay? Like, you know, spend time with your loved ones, you know, your family, whatever. You know, spread some love, spread some cheer, pay it forward, buy somebody a video game, you know, game share, do something. You know what I mean? Just be something for somebody this year, this holiday, you know, no matter what you celebrate. All right. I'd really appreciate it. X-Men Legends was awesome, Cedric, dude. I can't believe us Xbox fans aren't getting the new, that new Marvel game that's going to be exclusive to the Switch. OMG. I'm so bad. Yeah, man, I'm going to watch my Ravens play. Hopefully you guys all have a great day. Like it, share it, all that kind of stuff. I really do appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Z Black Rider? I appreciate all the love and support, man. You guys rock. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, all that stuff. Rack them up. Have a great day, people. Later.